What's up this Tuesday evening, everybody? This is the Iceman on the Iceman's Return YouTube channel. The man with the plan, the man with the knowledge, the man with the wrestling news. Hulk Hogan's 61st birthday celebration last night on Monday Night Raw. I'd have to say this, seeing Hulk Hogan last night, being 61 years young, looked in pretty darn good shape last night. Of course, he had his bandana on. Sort of like to see what the hair looked like, because we all remember, Hulk Hogan from yesteryear. And they played a very good video package last night for Hulk Hogan, right from way back. I mean, in his very early days when he was managed by Freddie Blassie. He had some AWA days, and it just went all the way up from when he won the WWF title from the Iron Sheik, who previously won it from the longtime champion Bob Backlund back in 1983. And it went through up to his WCW NWO days. And I really enjoyed this last segment last night. I thought it was very, very fitting. And to see Scott Hall and Kevin Nash come out, and oh my gosh, I mean, they both obviously have aged quite a bit. And Hogan being older than both of them looked a lot better than both of them. That was pretty obvious. And the one person that, when he first came out, to be quite honest with you, if it weren't for the theme music, it took me to take a double take, was Mr. Wonderful. His look has changed so much, hasn't it? In the past, Paul Orndorff, who had some great matches with Hulk Hogan. I believe there was a match in the Hartford Civic Center. I believe it was Hartford, where they both had a cage match and they both climbed out of the off the cage and hit the floor at the same time. And there was a controversy over that. This was back for the WWF title. But there's been so many memories, and we saw Roddy Piper, Ric Flair, Jimmy Hart. It was pretty cool to see all these guys back together again. It would have been sort of neat to see Eric Bischoff, but there was one person there that I wish could have been there, and I'm sure because of his health he could not have been there. Is Bobby the Brain Heenan, who had a big involvement in the world of professional wrestling all the way around, from AWA to WWF to WCW. Bobby the Brain Heenan was everywhere. He was one of those guys that you just loved listening to. He always cracked the corniest remarks and whatnot. So it would have been nice if Bobby the Brain could have been there. But unfortunately, I'm sure because of his health. And there was no reports of him, them even trying to get him there. But in my eyes, I thought that would have been pretty cool if the Brain was there. And then, of course, the interruption of the celebration by Brock Lesnar. If everybody noticed, he gave a shoulder to Roddy Piper. And then he went up to Flair, and Flair mumbled some words afterwards, and he just stood face-to-face, toe-to-toe with Hulk Hogan. And everybody was backing off a little bit. And this was like the intimidation factor by Brock Lesnar. And, of course, this was all, prearranged for the fact that John Cena would come out and, sort of like save the day. And Cena was ready for him right then and there. And, of course, Lesnar always had that little smile on his face and slowly backs out of the ring, gives, Cena a stare down. And the celebration continued, and the show went off the air. What I was really disappointed in was that Vince McMahon came into the ring after the show went off the air. I don't know why he chose to do it after they were off the air. It would have been nice to see Vince, shake and hug Hulk Hogan, on live TV, because we have not seen Vince in quite some time. We saw glimmers of him when Randy Orton won the first unified belt at TLC. And prior to that, the most we really saw of him before that was when he had the hair cutting segment with Bad News Barrett and Daniel Bryan. But yeah, I sort of miss seeing Vince. Stephanie even came down to the ring, and it's sort of odd too. I guess maybe that's one of the reasons why they didn't have it live, because Stephanie's on-air character is a heel, and so you couldn't very well have her come down basically and congratulate Hulk Hogan as being a heel. So, but there was a lot of neat things that we could have seen. But to see Scott Hall and for him to do the survey with the NWO was sort of cool. And of course, Kevin Nash, he's always got that deep, distinct voice. I've always liked Kevin Nash. I've liked him even when he was Diesel. And I liked him when he came to WCW. He was always a fun character to watch. But all in all, Hulk Hogan really looks in very, very good shape. And don't count out Hulk Hogan in having another match, because I do foresee him, if he stays in shape, the way he is, it really doesn't surprise me he wrestles at WrestleMania one more time. And that would be very fitting for him for the ending of his career, because, he was at the very first WrestleMania, and why not be his last match to be at WrestleMania? Yeah, it's one of those things. Hulk Hogan is a household name when it comes to wrestling, and he is popular as far as a wrestling name like nobody else in the business. So I thought it was pretty neat last night, especially seeing everybody come out. I mean, it was just cool, My favorite last night was really seeing Hall and Nash, because those guys were like instrumental along with Hulk Hogan in the NWO era of WCW. And that was back when wrestling was probably at its biggest time in history. So anyway, if you guys didn't see it, you should check it out. And, now we got SummerSlam this Sunday, and I actually watched the SummerSlam prelude show with Brock Lesnar and John Cena, and this was an excellent 27-28 minute prelude. Brock Lesnar, and I really do believe this in my mind, he really wants to hurt John Cena. Because I know there's no love lost between the two, and and like John Cena said, Lesnar claimed he left to make a name for himself in UFC, and then he used the excuse of his illness is why he lost at Extreme Rules. And he said if he stuck around, there would be no John Cena. But like John Cena did say, Lesnar left the business because he couldn't handle the travel, doing nightly shows. And I remember when this all occurred, that was the reason why he left the WWE. He just couldn't handle the travel time, day in and day out, and the rigorous schedule, which is, when you're with the WWE, that's a big part of it. And Lesnar was one of those guys that really couldn't do it. And there's been others, as well. But Brock, probably the biggest name that, really couldn't, just go along and follow like everybody else did. So, but anyway, it was a good prelude. I do think SummerSlam is going to be a great match as far as the WWE World Heavyweight title goes. I'm still undecided who's going to win this. I'm at 50-50 right now. Part of me says Cena's going to retain. Another part of me says that Lesnar will win. But regardless of who wins, who are their next opponents going to be? I see if Cena loses, he could probably get his rematch. But if Lesnar loses, why would he get a rematch? I mean, unless there's some sort of situation that occurs at the end, some sort of distraction, which causes either wrestler to lose the match. So, remains to be seen. I would love to see at the end of that match, the lights go out and hear the Undertaker's theme song just to distract Lesnar enough for Cena to go over and beat him. But I don't think that's going to happen because that would re-involve the Undertaker with Brock Lesnar once again. And I don't think we're going to see those two match up anytime soon, especially with the Undertaker pretty close to retirement. So, but anyway, again, a very good birthday ending last night to Raw with Hulk Hogan. I enjoyed it. The whole show was okay, but I'm not going to get into the whole show. But anyway, that's enough of that. This is the Iceman here on this Tuesday. Everybody, enjoy your Tuesday evening. And we'll see you all next time, whenever that's going to be. God bless everybody.